Hey, everybody. It's so great to see you. Happy Friday, TGIF. It's Melody here with the amazing and wonderful and beautiful Rachelle. Rachelle, how are you doing today?
After that introduction, I'm doing amazing. So, how are you today?
I am so grateful that it's Friday. I don't know if I have one brain cell left, and it's showing. I can't think of basic words.
No, today I said this is like the most Monday, Friday I've ever had. And the day went like really, really slow. But then I did some yesterday in my eighth grade STEAM class. We're back to we've been doing coding, and then we do a lot of artificial intelligence, augmented virtual reality. So I was mirroring my iPad on the Promethean board and doing some fun stuff, putting, crazy things in the room. But then there's this one app, it's seeing AI. So it scans and it like it reads the scene or reads the person. And so it was fun, like doing some of that stuff with them today to have a couple of laughs and get through the day. But it's been a long week, and I think people are feeling it. Some of those who are not necessarily on spring break yet, or not in their second spring break yet, because a lot of people had like a spring break and now they have like another break. But there are
Wow.
some of us that are like, all right, we got 3 more days next week, and thank goodness it is Friday. So, but anyway.
Amen. And I can't believe Easter is almost here. And it's probably my most favorite holiday. I got a friend over this side. I got a
I
friend in
see
the back
that.
joining us. But yeah, I love Easter. I'm so sorry you haven't been on spring break yet. That really, really sucks. It really
I
sucks when
know.
like you're watching everybody else have fun and go places and you still have to go to work. And
Yeah,
now that I work, with spaces, I don't get the summers off. And that's gonna be super fun, right?
I
Um,
know.
but let's get to our shout outs. Do you have any to give today?
I probably do, but do you want to go first?
Sure, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think about all my shout outs strategically. First, I want to say that I had an amazing book chat with Molly Schaefer and Jillian Du Bois. And I'm going to actually drop the link in just a second. It was so amazing and just in time for Autism Acceptance Month. And next week, I hope that, if you like book chats, if you like, having more for your personal or school library, I'm actually going to do another book that's along the same lines. If you can see,
Mhm.
representation is very important to me and something that I want my kids. We're a white family, but we don't have to read just about white kids, right? So,
Right. Yeah.
um, that's really important to me. And so I'm really excited about my book chats this month. And I also got to talk to Dave Schmitto today. So if he's watching, hey, Dave, thanks for taking the time. And Dean Gainey. Oh my gosh, I want to give
Uh,
kudos to Dean. He's in this, it's called Design Your Digital Classroom.
yeah.
And it's like a conference digitally. And he's doing great work. And so I got to talk a lot with him today. But anyway, yeah, what about you?
Even with all of that time extra time that I had to come up with something, I'm like, huh. No, let's see. Shout out. So I'm going to give a shout out to my students who may or may not, some of them do tend to, they found out that we do this thing and they do join in and watch and talk about like, we saw that you were dressed like a pirate one time when we had Dave on. And so that was fun. But honestly, like, I think that sometimes, students, I'll just go with students, think that when teachers come to school or administrators, everybody in education, they're just like they want to be there, they're excited, like every day it's like, yeah, I just want to do my job. And like we have hard days too, and I
Yes.
don't think that a lot of them realize how much they do lift us up. In a couple days or this week, I even said to my one class who are like all excited about it, they're always wanting to do games and read and they're just so about Spanish. I said, like sometimes it's tough, I'm tired too, like, but
Mhm.
you motivate me and you inspire me, and sometimes you say ridiculous things, but so I'm giving the shout out to them.
Oh,
Yeah,
do you think
and
they're
then
watching?
I don't know. You never know, but sometimes they do, because I didn't know that they actually did. And then one day they're like, "Hey, Stacy, oh my amazing Nashville friend who I should be seeing soon." Sometime or one time they said, "Oh yeah, we saw your show," and I went, "What show might that be?" And then that's what it was. But a couple of weeks ago, you might remember I was trying to get Tom Hanks to stop by our school because he was filming in town.
Yes.
And so they were kind of the same groups, but giving them a shout out. And then there is a group that I got to know. It's called Class Composer, and they guest moderated the formative chat 2 Mondays ago, I think, with a great topic about like that's the way we've always done it and making
Ooh,
changes and everything. And so they gave away a couple copies of my book. And they've been just really
nice.
helping to share some of the work that like some of our friends are doing. And
Yeah,
so I just want to give them a shout out because they're looking and seeing people are writing blogs, people are doing podcasts, especially this time of year. It's tough to get through, self-care, and they've been really trying to share and support educators. So I
I
am
love
thankful
that.
for all of those people.
Yes, and I want to give a shout out to Amanda Fox. She just like, Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong. It's so funny. She's so clever. She has a way with words. She just like either got the proof copy of her Canva book out. It's
Mhm.
almost ready. Like I get to read it. I get to be on her launch team, so I'm going to help her. But I can't wait to read that. So a shout out to you and all the work she's been sharing for the last couple of months. All that she's doing with Canva, and she's an amazing content creator. Okay, before we have an amazing guest today, so stick around, and we have a fun game. Before we do that, I have something amazing I want to share too. So you know that I work for Spaces, and that is it's an ed tech platform, and I have something so fun that is happening. It's called Spring into Spaces. So I am going to drop the link, and I want everybody to join. We're going to do this for the next 8 weeks. And there's going to be lots of prizes like gift cards. And just every week, we're going to do something fun. And educators get to check it out, how it feels to be a student in one of these spaces, in these classes, and, get rewarded for doing tasks. So please consider joining our Spring into Spaces class. It's something that I am doing with in the community, and I would love for y'all to join. And that's enough about that. Thank you, friends. Whoever this is, who's Facebook user?
Oh, I love when we have a Facebook user join us.
Who do you think it is?
It could be Brett, which is what does it say?
It just says Facebook user. And I think they said hello.
Hey,
But we
friend.
need to it says, hey, friends. It could be Barbara. I don't know.
It could be
Who
Barbara.
Is it
Yeah, it could be
Jillian?
Barbara. It could be
It could
Dave
be Linda.
Schmittou,
Linda Edwards. Is it you?
Linda.
I want to give a shout out to Linda Edwards. She's amazing.
Yeah.
She contributes a lot. Okay, or Bonnie. All right, but we're a little bit behind. So let's bring up our guest, Jon
Yes.
Spike. And I got to meet him this last January at FETC. Hey, Jon.
Hey, great to be here. And yeah, I think we did meet kind of face to face for the first time at FETC, which was just absolutely a blast.
It was so great. And it was great to meet you. But she knows a lot more about you. And I'm going to let you say something about you, but I want Rachelle.
Okay.
Rachelle, tell us what you know about this guy.
Okay, so first of all, I do want to acknowledge the fact that I did say I know it was Dave. It was one of my guesses on the road. Now, so I've known Jon for a while, and I don't know if it was the first time that we met in face to face was at Summer Spark conference, if that was it. That was a great conference a couple of years ago, although it's been several years since I'd been there and it happened. And then I do remember meeting you. Seeing you at ISTE in Chicago because Tara Martin was doing the chat that night from, I forget what the place was. And I had my time zones all totally mixed up, but there were a lot of people there. Like Melissa was there, Pilikowski, and Chuck was there. And Andrew Easton was there. There were a lot of great people there. So we had a chance to catch up, but I've known you for a while, been following your work, got to see you at, was it FETC?
I think we ran into each other at FETC, coming and going from, podcast recordings and things like that.
And too. It was so brief too, because I had it on my list to stop by to see you at the booth, because I was so the fact that you had a booth was absolutely awesome, and what you were doing. And I felt so bad. I didn't have a ton of time because I was running from session to session to see all that you have and that you've been working on to build to what you have now that you're going to share with us here today. So I just think that it's going to be a great show, and people are going to be amazed with what you share with us during our time here. So if you could add a little bit more about what exactly is it that Jon Spike does?
Yeah, so I started as a high school English teacher and then was a K-12 technology integrator, helping faculty, staff, students, use technology in their teaching. And actually just kind of, I think I've been in the role 5 years now, which is wild to me. I'm now a coordinator of instructional tech in a teacher prep college of ed in South Central Wisconsin called UW-Whitewater. And it's really,
is that how you know Mandy Freilich?
I've known Mandy since the dawn of time. So yeah, we go way back, like a lot of Wisconsin ed tech conferences, but in that role, really just kind of take that K-12 tech integrator, and then just now I do it for future teachers and the faculty and staff who train teachers. I teach there. I teach a digital tools course, and then a course called Video Games and Learning. And then just recently, the last 2 years, I started an LLC called Game Storm EDU. And I'm right now just released my first commercial game. It's called Game Stormers. And it just this week, I am absolutely shocked. It funded on Kickstarter. So
yay!
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with Kickstarter, it's a crowdfunding site. So you put up an idea, you have pledge options for it. And people, hopefully if you make a good sell on the product or the service you offer, people will back it. And so, yeah, we reached our goal on day 2, and we're just extremely excited about continuing to fund. And as we keep climbing, it's really fun in the board game world. As you continue to fund, you usually have stretch goals. And if you meet these funding goals, then you kind of unlock new things. So we're trying to unlock our next stretch goal to make our game even better. So there's kind of the very long-winded intro.
And Amanda asks, so cool. How do we get to play it?
Yeah, it's actually one really neat part is it's very commonplace now to create your game digitally to make available. So actually you can go to a website called tabletopia.com and you can play this game. It's publicly available on Tabletopia. So you can hop on to a Chromebook, laptop, desktop, and you can fire it up and play it virtually with people. And then if you back the game on Kickstarter, you'll get one of the first copies. And those, hopefully, that we're going to manufacture them this summer. They'll take the long trip overseas from China to the US and then get sent out through fulfillment companies. Hopefully there's no global shipping delay like we are currently experiencing. Maybe no more global wars.
Just so you know.
Yeah. I'm kind of tempering my expectations, but at some point it will make it here and be shipped out. So yeah, if you want to play it digitally, it's available on Tabletopia. And then
did you already put that link in the chat?
I didn't put the Tabletopia one in. I'll shoot that over to the private chat for sure. Yeah.
And this is your Kickstarter project. Like if people want to go, I'm dropping that in the comments. If people, because you can still get backed, right? Like you don't just have to meet your minimum.
Yeah. So it's an all or nothing. So if you meet that minimum, it will get made. And then really, anything on top of that just helps make the game even better. So as people support and pledge, I'm able to add more into the game, make the components even higher quality, add new cards into the game and everything. So that's kind of the new push is to let's keep supporting the project. So
yes, let's keep supporting educators that are content makers. And I'm just curious, like, who do you think will play it?
Yeah, so I'll tell you just like a little quick overview of the game and then kind of tell you how we've seen teachers using it.
Okay.
And so basically in Game Stormers, you're kind of a game designer in this futuristic world, and you have to make a game to please this elder game stormer. Picture this person is like the ultimate, they've been making games for the whole society. And so to do that, you create a 5-card game narrative. So you kind of collect cards, you can make your own cards. And you assemble your 5-card game. You have a storyline, 2 mechanics or things that happen in your game, and 2 items, people, places, things that show up in your game. You assemble those, and then at the end of the game, you'll pitch your game to the fellow players and tell them how your game works, what's neat about it, the narrative of it. You vote for a winner. And then the other piece, too, is if you're not kind of that party game extrovert, you can also win via points. So there's somebody who wins by getting the most points. You assemble a game that scores you the most. Maybe your game has the most cards worth the most value, or maybe you meet some objectives that your cards have on them to make a really unified theme, or you work in a bunch of different narrative storylines and kind of mix and match them. So that's kind of the vision of the game. We've seen it played. Its sweet spot, I'd say, is middle school, high school, but we've had older elementary play it. I just had an 8-year-old kick my butt the other day, which was great. And to answer Amanda's question, the stretch goals, our next one is we're turning, we have a scorecard, and usually there's sheets of paper. If you've played kind of board games or card games that have sheets of paper, we're going to turn that into a dry erase scorecard. So you never have to worry about buying more. Next up, we are going to add more storyline cards. So the game comes with 25 different ones. We're going to add 5 more if we reach that stretch goal. as
awesome.
well. So we just
Ooh.
got some fun. Those are our upcoming goals that are kind of coming up. So we've seen it as a creative writing prompt. So teachers have used it. You create this game. Now you write about the game world. A comp sci teacher, his students played a few rounds, came up with game narratives, and then tried to code their game in different platforms, make it into an actual coded game. We've had a lot of fun ones. Some people just used it as like they played the game and then students tried to make their own games, because the game kind of teaches you board game and card game design by exposing you to different kind of game strategies. So yeah, that's my little 5-minute pitch of it.
So you made a game that other people can make their own game.
Yes, it's very meta. It's kind of, gameception-y a little bit, for sure. Yep.
And who do you hope embraces this? Like, who are you really thinking about when you made this?
Well, I'm an educator, so guilty as charged. I think educators, this is a great game. I think just for that rainy day, I think it could be a great just jumping off point into some creative thinking for students. I think it's just a great family game, because at the end of the game, you've made something. Like, I see a lot of people taking a photo of the game they made and being like, oh, I'm just proud of this. I didn't win, but I like what I made. I can't believe I strung these 5 cards together. Some people are like, I would play the game I made. It sounds fun.
Yeah.
And so even if sometimes I don't even notice if I win or lose anymore, because I'm just all into this goofy game I kind of made work.
I like that.
Yeah. But I love, like, even at special guest here, sorry. What's the point of the game? It's for anybody. That you made all the game cards, like, for so many people that were stopping by, and it's in my wallet, and I carry.
I'm sorry, I don't have mine right now. I know where it is, and I totally.
And I showed my students. They're like, "What is that? That is so cool." But I wanted to ask you, for people, because I know several people that have done Kickstarter campaigns, and whether it's for something like you did, some have done it to get a book published, and some did, like, a couple of years ago, there were some augmented reality ones. I have one in my classroom at school, and I was so embarrassed. I was like, never really sure what I was actually supposed to do with it, because, like, they had the video, and I'm like, I don't know that I can actually do this. And so, do you recommend, like, because there's obviously ways that you can get funding, and I guess it depends on what your product is. If it is essentially like a game, or if it's a book and you don't rely on a lot of, like, excess costs whenever you're programming and all of that, where you might go through, like, funding and all of that kind of stuff to get it. Is this something that's more specific to, like, an individual project? Passion project could be anything like that. Is that why you went, like, doing this Kickstarter?
I'll be honest with you. I started probably 4 or 5 years ago kickstarting other people's board games. And what I loved about it is you kind of fall in love with their story and their journey. So they tell you that narrative of, hey, here's what's cool about the game. Here's how you play it. But also, here's why I did it. Here's who I'm doing it for. Here's what I think this game could bring to the world. And you kind of, even if a game you're not sure if it's going to be a fit for you, you kind of start believing in the creator and just wanting to be a part of this creator's journey too. And so that's something that I really connected with. And one part of this game that's very important to me actually is my daughter is about to turn 1. I started designing this game before she was born. And when she was born, I looked at her, I'm like, well, there's my main character. I wanted her to be a part of this too. And so my daughter is actually a playable character. She's on the cover of the game. I stupidly, my game is down in the basement. I should have grabbed it, but
I know. Look
she's
at
on
us.
there.
It's
Yeah,
Friday.
yeah, we're not
Our
prepared.
minds,
yeah, but she's on the game, and it's been really great to be able to someday, kind of show her, like, hey, you were a big inspiration to me to make this game. And so that's been a really cool part. And I've been trying to share that with backers. Like, this is a passion project to the nth degree. I'm excited about the idea, and I brought, my favorite person into it to share this experience with me. So that, I think, is really special about Kickstarter is the product and the service are just as important as the narrative that goes with it. And so that's what I'd recommend to people is if you've got a really interesting narrative to share with your product, it's a good fit. So that would be my advice. And then also the board game industry, big companies are doing it. one-person companies are doing Kickstarter, because the other thing it does is it builds kind of this community around your product. And hopefully if people really like either the journey you brought them on or your product, they'll follow you to the next one. And so hopefully if there's a Game Stormers expansion with more, you know, opportunities for stories and things like that, then people will come along for the ride again.
I love that. So number one, congratulations for hitting your minimum. And we are going to congratulate you again when your stretch goals are completed. And number two, for embracing the family and community part of this. That is so wonderful. And number three, do you have a hashtag?
I really should. I've sometimes hashtag just Game Stormers. That's the name of the game. So yeah, if you are looking for one, that might be the best one. Otherwise, I usually
think
throw
it's great.
The game, references the game. I put it on some of the usual, you know, game-based education ones, Games for Ed and XP Lab and things like those. I throw it on there. But yeah, I guess I should probably, you know, if I get enough backers, maybe it'll be worthy of a hashtag.
I think I think you should have a hashtag. Game Stormers is pretty good.
It is.
I was waiting for your approval, Molly, so now that I have it, I am gonna I'll start hashtagging it.
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm a hashtag person. I want to follow the hashtag. So that is really cool. Yeah. And what are you thinking, Rachelle?
Oh, one, I'm thinking just how long Jon has been in like this space in terms of like gamification and his involvement, and then just the work. Two, I'm thinking about his recent photo of him with his daughter. Right? Is that what it was the other day? Like laying there next to each other, like on social media and stuff. And just what, I don't know, what a piece of like your family history that is going to be, like what you went through, what the reason was for creating it. I'm sure with a lot of challenges and uncertainties about it, but that feeling that you have that like you're working on something, it's you're passionate about it, and as you're doing that, like you're growing in different ways, and you're also inspiring people who maybe in our age group. I'm going to say our age group, even though I know fairly well that I'm in my own age group out of the three of us here.
Jon looks like a baby. I can't even believe he has a kid. Like, I'm like, what?
But it's a good story, because, you know, like there are, you know, game-based learning and gamification, there are obviously differences, but a lot of the tools that we use in our classrooms, many of them have been designed by younger students that just find this passion for creating something. And I was talking about my students earlier in my Spanish. I just got new Spanish books. And one of the activities for them is to work collaboratively to make a game about Santo Domingo. And it looks like Candyland, but it has all of the elements of, you know, the collaboration and problem solving, creativity and so things. So there's like, even if people think, oh, well, it's just a game, it's just a board game, but the learning potential that's involved in that, when you're looking at like social emotional learning, sometimes you don't even think about it, like what the potential is. Or if you're looking as a case study for entrepreneurship and having an idea and pitching it, and what are the steps in the process to bring that actually to life and get into people's hands, and being a spokesperson for that, for people who might have something that they're like, yeah, you know, I could never do this, I couldn't get the funding, you know, it's just an idea, nobody would really, you know, buy into that. So I'm thinking those things, but I'm also wondering, are you going to have your own booth at any upcoming conferences?
Ooh, that's good to know.
Yeah, I mentioned, you know, my daughter just turning 1. I kind of, you know, I told my wife, I'm like, I want to get the game out there before this Kickstarter, and then I think after this, I'm going to exhale and I'm going to take a little conference break, because it's hard being away from her. You know, she's only this age once. And so I'll probably be taking a little conference breather, but definitely digitally. I know that districts can't really kickstart. It's hard to, you know, that's not really pledging an amount to this Kickstarter platform is realistic. So I'm going to have a different channel available for districts and organizations. So you'll see probably more of me in the digital space than the physical for a while. But I do want to. I so enjoyed having a booth, and I so had a new respect for the vendors, you know, and I know both of you have done such extensive work, but I always kind of, I never really hung out too much in the expo booth, but then being on the other side of it, it's such an appreciation for what goes on to that. Like pitching 100 times in a row is just incredibly demanding. And I realized I'm like, I don't wear the right shoes for standing that long.
It's like nothing else. And I will say that I went to BET 2020 with Buncie, actually, and we were in the Microsoft Pavilion, And I had never been to bed. So I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to London. And like, we're in there and it's a different experience than like ISTE. And I wasn't anticipating that, but, just being there and being on and having to say the same thing over and over, or then actively like pull people in and seeing that aspect of it. Because it's one thing to be presenting a session or to do a playground, because even a playground is more similar to like the expo experience, because you have your own little space and people are coming over and you're trying to like engage them in, you're doing the same thing over and over. But to stand there and under the lights and all of that movement, it's like sensory overload sometimes. It's a great opportunity, but it's not easy work. And so I can relate to that, because that was an awesome experience, but I was exhausted after those 4 days. So
Yep. And that's my job. So, I would say, Jon, that we think that like tennis shoes are going to be the answer, but they're not. Like, especially if you have high arches, I just want to say you want to get like shoes that go up to your arch or support your arch somehow. Like I could write on that. Okay. Speaking of games, are you ready to play Would You Rather?
Sounds perfect.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. So if you are watching, do we have anybody, is anybody still watching? Tell us if you're still watching, but we want you to play along with us. And here we go. Thank you, Rachelle, for providing this one. Jon, do you play Would You Rather very much?
I have, and I'd actually, when I was an English teacher, we would do Would You Rathers to work on thesis statements. So they'd write thesis statements playing it. I would obviously, I definitely, check to make sure they're, PG-13 and everything. But
oh, that's not fun. No, if they are a little bit provocative, that's my favorite. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to read it. I'm not even going to check to see if Rachelle would approve. Okay, would you rather have the ability to see 10 minutes into the future or 150 years into the future? 10 minutes or 150 years?
I'm going 150 years.
I think I would do the same, and I feel like I want to check to see if like my investment into VR is going to be worthwhile or if it's a passing fad. So I think I need to know. I'm researching it right now. So if I'm wrong, it would just save me a lot of time to know nobody's using it.
Oh, how sad. I would say 10 minutes because I have put my mouth and my foot together to match. But I feel like I would be more successful in life if I knew what was actually going to happen 10 minutes, from then. And plus 150 years, I'm not even going to be around. That in itself, now that I'm over 40, like is so freaking depressing. Okay,
but
Rachelle and I are going to be in robot bodies.
Yes. Yeah, I'm working on it.
We're going to be alive.
Yeah, not me. Not me. All right. Would you rather have telekinesis, the ability to move things with your mind, or telepathy, the ability to read minds?
I gotta think about that one.
I'm gonna tell you something.
I'll jump in. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what people are thinking. I'm gonna move stuff with my mind, and I think that's TMI. There's been too many cautionary tales in pop culture for that one.
I want to move things because I want things cleaned up without me actually having to lift them up and move them. I just want to just move.
Good answer.
Go.
Where would that ability would have been amazing through all the diaper changing years, but it just officially ended a few months ago. Like
some of us are in the thick of them right now.
Yeah.
Right. Listen, Jon, I had 12 years of changing poopy diapers. So
all right.
It's amazing to be out of that. But I would have liked to have, that ability. That would have been very much in handy. All right. Would you rather be forced to sing along or dance to every single song you hear?
Nobody wants to hear me sing, so I'll be dancing.
That's not true. You have a good voice.
I'll be singing. Terrible dancer. I'm a solid B- singer, I think.
What do you think I'm going to say, Rachelle?
Singing.
Well, you are wrong because I would rather dance. Just kidding. I would rather sing. You're right.
I knew it.
Okay, this is going to be tricky since we're all married, but would you rather find true love today or win the lottery next year?
Or win the lottery next year?
Yeah, would you rather find true love today or win the lottery next year?
Well, how much money are you talking?
Okay. Lottery, I'm thinking a millionaire. If you were going to be a billionaire or a millionaire, probably in the millions.
There's a big difference there because if it's a millionaire, I'm like, meh. But if it's a billionaire, I'm like, okay.
I'd probably, just like role playing that not married or anything like that. I would say probably the love because I've heard more money, more problems. So
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you something. Love will be there in a year. Choose the lottery, okay? Like, love can wait.
Oh my gosh.
What would you choose, Rachelle? You didn't say.
I did. You just missed it. Next question.
Okay. La la la. This is going to be Rachelle's favorite that I've asked in
Oh boy.
forever. Would you rather be in jail for 5 years or be in a coma for a decade?
Oh, they're both terrible. No, on either.
No,
so
you
it
have
was
to
jail
choose.
jail for 5 or coma 10.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I feel like just because of the length, I'll go jail 5.
Yeah.
Because maybe there's some decent books. I don't know.
Right. I would totally, without even thinking about it, I'm like, I'm choosing jail. For sure.
But can you choose the jail that you go to so that it's like,
I want to go to Martha Stewart's jail.
oh my gosh.
She seemed to have a really good time. All right. Oh my gosh. This is I can't ask this one.
No, yeah, good. Skip.
Oh, number 7, but I want you to look on that. Number 7. I'm going to ask you that next time we're together in Vegas.
Okay.
Would you rather be chronically underdressed or chronically overdressed?
Over.
I feel like I am chronically underdressed, so I'll just say that one, and it hasn't burned me too much yet, so I'll go say that one.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, would you rather swim in a pool full of Nutella or a pool full of maple syrup?
I'll dive in if I've got pancakes when I'm going in, if it's maple syrup.
I'm trying to think
Who's jumping in with
logically.
me is what I want to know. Like, that really determines a lot for me.
That would require a lot of product.
I'm trying to think about this logically, but I feel like I'm just gonna go with my favorite of the two, which would be Nutella.
Agreed.
But I'm just thinking logistically of what I want to be submerged in. I don't know. I haven't dipped myself fully in either one yet today. So
Well, let me know
Yeah.
when you do, because I would really like to hear about that. I think that maple syrup, like real maple syrup, is disgusting. My husband loves it so much. We always have real maple syrup, and it's disgusting. I like the artificial stuff for sure, way better. Log cabin any day. Okay. How many more do we get? Are you in a hurry to leave, anybody? Because I like this.
Nope, you can post. I mean,
I sadly probably have to get back. I can hear my dog, so maybe do you have one more final one?
Yes.
that sounds good.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna pick a really good one. I think this is it goes kind of along with your game, Jon. So, and this could be something that maybe is incorporated. Would you rather be 11 feet tall or 9 inches tall?
Oh.
11 feet or 9 inches?
Oh my goodness. I've heard that tall people don't live as long, so maybe I'd
Yeah.
live super long if I was 9 inches. And I feel like I'm closer to 9 inches tall than 11. So maybe I should go with that anyways. So it won't be too jarring to be that tall.
Oh goodness.
What would you rather, Rachelle? You got to choose one.
I know. I'm going with the same answer as Jon, and then just getting some excessively high heels.
Ooh, okay. So that's what I would rather be 11 feet, because then I feel like I have enough body mass that would go with me and it would look really great. So if I would be 11 feet. So it's wonderful. Well, thank you everybody for joining us, whether it was live or during the replay. We appreciate you so much. Please, please, please check out the Game Stormers Kickstarter and follow the hashtag Game Stormers. We're making it official today. Please join our Spring into Spaces class. We love everybody at our community. Does anybody have any last words before we say goodbye?
I just want to say thank you to you both. It was such a pleasure being on the show, and thanks everybody for tuning in.
Thank you. It's been
Have
fun.
a good weekend.